These two bottles of rum have been in my collection since way before I niched my main YouTube channel down into rum. In my opinion, these are two fantastic rum blends at some seriously good prices. But just recently, the same company released these two rums at what they call foolproof anniversary strength. And oh my God, they are good. So today, before I start my next island deep dive, which will be the Dominican Republic, I thought I'd do a little deep dive into these four rums and let you know why you might want to add these to your collections. Hello rum friends, welcome back to the channel. But for those of you that are new around these parts, hello, welcome. My name is Steve the Barman, and right here on my blue channel, I mainly focus on rum tastings for rums under £50 or under 60 US dollars. So if you like the sound of that, make sure you hit that subscribe button. But if you want to see the links for my 5 other YouTube channels, they will be in the description below. Now, just a quick little disclaimer before I go any further. Some of you may have seen the paid promotion button ticked. That is just purely because I'm on an ongoing partnership with Master of Malt. This is a Master of Malt own brand, although they kind of it's Atom Brands, which is the same parent company. But I have actually bought and paid for these rums. It's just that all the rums coming up in the next sort of 2 or 3 videos, Master of Malt have donated. So I just kind of be open and honest. Yes, I'm in a sort of ongoing relationship with Master of Malt because I flipping well love them. But these rums I've paid for. Now look, there's no point me doing any price comparisons because I know full well these are not available outside of the UK. However, you can, Master of Malt do ship worldwide, except for the US, but you can actually get some of these bottles through the Whiskey Exchange, even though these are a Master of Malt own brand. So you will be able to get them in certain states in the US. But just to give you the rough ballpark in this, yes, I've got trade prices. Yes, I've got slightly different prices to that as well. But you will be roughly talking around the 20 to 22 pounds per bottle mark. And yes, these are 70 CLs. Now, before I dive into these rums specifically, what have that boutique rum company done? Essentially, they've taken their 2 standard 42% ABV rums and just released the same rums at a much higher 59% proof. They've called it their anniversary. I'll be honest, I don't know what the actual anniversary blend means. In my head, I don't think they're 10 years old, but these rums have been around quite a long time and I've lost track of time. So the anniversary might refer to that. I genuinely don't know. But then starting off with the white rums, I can't really call these unaged. I'm going to give you the DNA of these. But these are, you'll understand why I'm a big fan of this white rum. Fantastic daiquiris, fantastic mojitos, and those kind of lovely fresh, even your agricole cocktails. And let's find out why. Let's have the little deep dive. This has actually got 3 different rums in it. We've got the unaged Martinique, we've got the unaged Jamaica, but we've also got a 4-year-old Jamaica in the blend as well. Now, those of you that are kind of up to speed with whole blending and independent bottle releases and stuff like that will understand that, do you know what, very rarely can brands actually say where the rums have come from. I have got a fair idea of where these come from. I'm not going to say it on there, but needless to say, they're probably not Appleton or Ray and Nephew or anything like that. But that's just how the industry works. You'll sometimes you won't even see Jamaican. Sometimes you might just see Caribbean, depending what contracts and what agreements have been met. But just know that these are basically 2 lots of Jamaican rum in here, an unaged and a 4-year-old and an unaged Martinique rum. Now, the reason why I love this white rum so much is because even on the aroma, it dances around everywhere. 1 minute I'm getting sort of that sort of bruleed banana, if you like. That's a bit of a posh word for me, isn't it? Banana. Let's just go that. Barbecued banana or roasted banana or something like that. You get those banana notes, you get those pineapple notes, but then you kind of, and that would be your sort of Jamaican coming out, but then it kind of goes off into that sugarcane juice vibe, that floralness, that grassiness. It's kind of, it just hits you in waves. And then coming back to it a second time, I get this like, I don't know which one I'd probably go to first. I'm just going to say both, apple and pear. I think they're both there for me. I can't distinguish one from the other. I'm not just going to say it's apple or it's pear. I do generally get them both. But the thing for me, even though, and this is like complete amateur sort of level, even though I know the bulk of this rum is actually unaged rum, you do on the nose, you know, if you were sort of smelling this blind, I think you might actually pick up the aged part of this. I think there's a little bit of wood, a little bit of vanilla maybe coming through on that. That will kind of give you the nod that it's going to be aged. I don't think you're ever going to mistake that on the nose for a heavily aged rum. I'm not saying that, but there is this little bit to it. But let's have a little taste. It's absolutely delicious. Those that still maintain you can't drink white unaged rum neat, seriously, I say it so often, you're deluded. This stuff tastes absolutely fantastic. Fruity up top, pineapple, banana. I get that. I actually, off the first, the Martinique, the sort of a cane juice is hitting me now. But up top, it is really that sort of Jamaican that really does hit you, those sort of tropical fruits. But as that lengthens out and goes down the back of your tongue, then you kind of get this, it's the texture. It's that kind of, that's the only way I've kind of described cane juice rums for me. They're kind of, I'm not saying sweeter, but they do give you that mouthfeel of a much more luxurious, velvety, smooth rum. And by smooth, I don't mean sweetened. I don't mean that. There is an absolutely zero sugar being added to this. But it's just that mouthfeel that you get. Really good rum. And just that second side, I mean, pineapple. It is, for me, the overriding flavour on this is pineapple. But this is the beautiful thing with this rum, because I have got, when I do my cocktail masterclasses, I do take a Jamaican white unaged rum out with me. I do take a Barbados rum. I do, for pure giggles, take an agricole out for me. But this is kind of, you know, this really does hit the spot for me, because it's that Jamaican rum that I take with me isn't as light as this. And this, because you've got, basically you've got the pot still from the Jamaicans, but you've got column still from the Martinique rum in there. That's what gives it that lightness and that freshness. And this, for me, I'm going to do one in a minute. I'm just going to, because I haven't actually done this in a daiquiri yet, the higher ABV one, but I'm just going to do the daiquiri test for it. For me, it just makes stunning daiquiris. Yes, I do bang on about the Chairman's Reserve. I think that is my all-star, but my palate, as my palate is evolving, I do like a little bit of sort of depth of flavour coming on. You know, the reason why the Diplomatico Planas is up there as well, that I do love that in daiquiris. This stuff is just really good. Now, coffee fit out the way. What do we get from the higher ABV, the 59? Obviously, a bit more of a smack around the chops than you do for that 42%. That really does hit you. The pineapple for me is dialed down. Yes, you've got that alcohol, that spicy pepperiness comes off there. I want to say I probably get more pear and apple off the 59%er. There is this, and probably more banana actually. It's the banana that's coming out there for me more than the sort of pineapple. But this is what I love. This is what I found fascinating, because essentially both of these rums are identical. Exactly the same blend. That has just been proofed down to 42%, whereas that, maybe, I don't think it's cask strength, but just like proofed down ever so slightly to 59%. And that's the only difference. There's more water in that. But would you pick they're the same rums? I'm not sure that you would. When you do mix a little bit more saliva with it, you do get the sort of pineapple notes coming out there. I kind of understand why they've produced the 59%. I do. I know it's the very limited market, and it's that market that it's gone for. It's not gone mass market like this. For me, for the vast majority of you that watch this channel, that all day long, that is such a nice rum. Now, when it comes to the daiquiris, I've not messed around with this. I've just done exactly the same ratios for both of these. Yes, that one is stronger than that one. That is a fun afternoon, early evening, really, really good. Does it meet my criteria? Light, clean, crisp, bright. Hell yes. That is fantastic, with a little bit of a tropical fruit vibe going on there. This one, though, is kind of amped up. It's a little bit more hard work. You know you're going to be drinking it, obviously. But wow, I don't think you need to balance adjust that. And oh, actually, that's really amped up in pineapple on that taste. I don't think you need to balance adjust that at all. Look, use case for this. Are you going to be sipping this neat? I would, but I know I'm an anomaly. I know not many people think to drink white rum, unaged rum neat. I would quite happily drink that 42% neat. I would absolutely all day long. Perhaps not the 59%er, but the way that's just come out in daiquiris, that's really tasty. Do you know what? Oh, I can't. Do you know what? I think if you diluted that down a little bit more, I think you'd end up with the same thing. So it comes down to your use case for it. If you're going to be mixing, you might benefit from going to higher ABV and using less of it because the bottle will then go further. But I don't know. I think I'm just a traditionalist. I think I just like this 42% because it's just flipping tasty. Do you know what? This is getting finished off all day long. Now let's come on to the signature blend number 2, and this is slightly different. It's a slightly more aged because you can see by the colour, but we've got a different country. So signature blend number 1 was Jamaica and Martinique. This is Jamaica and Guyana. And to give you the DNA of this rum, this is an unaged high ester Jamaican rum. And then we've got a 3-year-old Jamaican rum. Again, we don't know the distilleries. However, when it comes to Guyana, they obviously can't be secretive about that because we know full well it comes out of DDL, Demerara Distillers Limited, aka El Dorado. So we do actually get to know what stills. Now, DDL have got 10 stills. You know, people would think it's just like 1 or 2 in those wooden pot stills. They have actually got 10 stills going on. So what this is a blend. So we've got the unaged high ester Jamaican, we've got the 3-year-old Jamaican, and then in the Guyanan part of this, we've got 2 to 5-year-old rums from Enmore, which is the wooden pot still. We've got the Port Morant, which is the wooden pot still. And then we've got the French Saval, the column still in there. So we've got 3 different stills making up these blends of 2 to 5-year-old Guyanan rums, which should then be blended with a 3-year-old Jamaican and an unaged high... Oh, God, I can't even say it. Unaged high ester Jamaican rum. I think I should have the rest of this daiquiri just to make this flow. Now, this rum for me, I haven't actually given it much airtime. And I don't actually know why. I think in my head, I was trying to reason that it was, well, I know a large portion of my audience is US and I know you can't really get it easily. But then, I do talk about the signature blend number 1 quite a lot. So I don't actually know. I think it kind of fell out of favour with me and I haven't really visited. And I have, as I say, that bottle's been sitting like that for 8-9 months or so. I haven't really revisited it except for a couple of cocktail experiments. But having revisited that about a week ago before I knew that I was going to be doing this video, I was like, do you know what? This brings me back to the Denizen video that I did where Mark Thomas, one of my subscribers, sent me some Denizen Merchant's Reserve and I tasted that, and that's like goes towards the Mai Tai, the ultimate 1 rum Mai Tai, if you like, even though it's a blend of 2 different rums. And I think tasting it, this could be the UK's answer to that 1 rum Mai Tai. We're going to do that Mai Tai tasting in a minute, but I just think this rum has got everything going for it. And perhaps I didn't appreciate it a year ago, a year and a half ago, before I'd really sort of tuned in my palate to neat rums. But I really like this now. Now, look, seasoned rum drinkers are probably going to get this a little bit different. But for me, the big note off that is that high ester Jamaican, that overripe sort of banana. That's the first thing it slaps me around the face by a mile. But the rest of this is quite interesting because now I do get nods to smelling this. There's no illusions in my mind that the vast majority of this rum is aged, because I get that sort of that caramel vibe. I get that molasses vibe. I get that little bit of vanilla. I get a little bit of spices that are on there as well. Second aroma, now I'm picking up those inherent sort of what I get quite a lot. And I've got to revisit Guyana, but quite a lot of that dried fruit, that mixed dried fruit, sultanas, dates, raisins, that kind of vibe off there. But it's just this little tickle of spice. But I think there's like a tropical fruit finishing on that. But smelling the 59%, again, it's like a totally different rum. And I don't know how the experts, people that have been drinking rum their entire life, I don't know whether they would smell that and merely attribute that as a higher ABV. I don't. I'm smelling this and I think they're completely different rums, because what I get off that straight away is more a chocolate, more coffee, definitely more sort of your dates and your raisins, that kind of vibe. It's almost like a nuttiness to the higher ABV one as well, but that I can't, in the way that I get this sort of not dried, but sort of ripe banana, that's the word I'm looking for. Ripe banana off the lower ABV one. Off the higher ABV one, it is chocolate. Absolutely, no mistake in that, chocolate. Now, drinking this, again, I think what's done it for me is ever since I've started going down these rabbit holes, starting off with the Jamaica, and then Barbados, and then St. Lucia, I think that is definitely what I should have done 2 years ago now, because that has just fine-tuned my palate dramatically over the last sort of, where are we, 4 or 5 months, because this is flipping gorgeous. And the Jamaican rums that I got used to, the best way I can describe this rum is like everything I wanted from that Jamaican rum series is in this rum. But then there's also something a little bit extra that obviously that Guyana is bringing. It's got that Jamaicanness to it, but this fun and fruity vibe that comes up behind it. Really easy to drink as well. I'm even getting shades of coconut off that. I could get properly used to that. At this point, I'm not sure that that's got enough grunt in it for me for cocktail work. And I'm relating this to the Chairman's Reserve Legacy that I did probably about 3 weeks ago now at the time of shooting. Probably about 4 weeks, actually. But I know how that sits in cocktails, whereas this is like inoffensive and just sits on there. But it's absolutely delicious to sip neat. It's going to be a great rum and coke rum. It's going to be a great rum and ginger rum. But the thing I'm most intrigued about this is this one rum Mai Tai. Now, the higher ABV stuff, I generally wouldn't. I wouldn't pick these as the same rum. Wow. Chocolate, coffee, bit of leather. More chocolate. As it finishes, probably going into a little bit of coffee. Is a little bit of fruit coming through there now, but chocolate. It's like I've just literally I've bitten into a bar of dairy milk, and there's this lovely, what's the word? Treacle, burnt treacle. I wouldn't say caramel. I wouldn't say burnt caramel. It's like a real heavy burnt sugar vibe going onto it, but in a nice way. And this is going to be right. I'm putting my head inside like the neat sipper's head here. All day long, they are going for this one. All day long, because that is much more down their alley. But for me, I like this as a neat sipper. This is really bonkers, because I want that taste at a higher ABV. But actually, when you get the higher ABV, you don't get that taste, which really kind of blows my little mind. So look, when it comes to the Mai Tai, I'll be honest, I'm torn here, because I really want this rum to work. I think the 42% ABV, and perhaps this is what it is for me, perhaps it's just a little bit too mellow. And yes, I do compare it to, and now, to be fair, that is exactly what I thought to Denison Merchant's Reserve. I thought that just did not give me what I wanted from a Mai Tai. Now, the thing to work through in your head here, because my Mai Tai blend is the Two Worthy Parks. I love that dark rum vibe. So again, am I an anomaly because I love that sort of darker vibe in a Mai Tai? And actually, if you go probably the traditionalist route, this actually might be closer. But for me, I just want that little bit of something extra in this. And It's not the Jamaican funk. It's just that the darkness, the richness. I just want not sugar, not sweetness. I just want something a little bit more, and it doesn't quite deliver. But Denison Merchant's Reserve has a lot of fans, and that's the only thing I can sort of think of. You know, if you are probably a Mai Tai traditionalist, you are probably going to absolutely adore this. I think for me, I would probably need to play around and up the ratios. It's not a simple 60ml. That's based on a 60ml. Half Mai Tai. Both of them, yeah, half Mai Tais. Now, the reason why I'm sort of, you know, on the fence is because I don't think this delivers at all as a Mai Tai. It's not, it's just too feisty. So again, you have to bring it down. 45ml of that might have been, so yes, these are half Mai Tais. So base this on 60ml. 45ml might have been the way to go for that. But I just think it doesn't give me what I kind of want from Mai Tai. And I'm so confused right now. I'm so confused. In fact, I went down the rabbit hole. Now pretend, as I say, pretend these are 60ml Mai Tais. They're half Mai Tais, but pretend they're 60ml Mai Tais. What I've essentially done is taken that up to 75ml and taken this one down to 45ml. And now we're cooking on gas. That's flipping delicious. That's really good. So if you've got a proper Mai Tai, you know, 75ml, that extra 15ml, which would, you know, bearing in mind the that's 54.5%. So, and I use 30ml. So, you know, you're not making it that much stronger than what that is, if any stronger. But this one comes into it as well now. Again, totally different tastes. This is what's thrown me, because now I would expect these to taste pretty much similar, because obviously we're diluting that one down to that strength, but I don't. That is a totally different Mai Tai to that. Totally. But my God, they are good. And I genuinely can't split them now. I get more chocolatey notes on that. That's a lighter one on that. So that's slightly heavier. That's slightly fruitier. And I genuinely don't know which way to guide you on this, but I'm going to try and attempt it. Let's talk about the signature number one for a start. Honestly, I'm a traditionalist. I would stick to that pure price as well. You know, I would stick to the 42% ABV. That for me delivers. Be pure, and I'm saying that purely because I don't imagine too many of you are neat sippers, like proper neat sippers, where you want the really high ABV stuff. Yes, that is lovely. Yes, that makes a cracking daiquiri, but that makes a better daiquiri. For mass market, that is exactly where your palate lies. Now, for the signature blend number 2, I am slightly conflicted. If you are all about mixing, that is a stunning mixing rum. Coke, ginger beer, you know, pineapple sodas, whatever your line is, that is a stunning mixing rum and a steal at the price. £22, £23. Absolute steal. Trade cheaper. A lot cheaper. If you're a pub or a bar, that is a steal. Really is. And that's the beauty of, you know, getting own brands from your wholesalers, your distributors, your, you know, wherever you buy that. That is essentially their own brand. So that's a steal. But if you make that stronger and you know, if you're going cocktails, I think you need to bump the ABV of this up slightly if it's a 1 rum cocktail. And I think you need to bring this down slightly. And that's where I'm conflicted, because even when you do that, they do make very different cocktails. So it's the only way I can kind of sum it up. If your vibe is fruitier, probably go with that one. If your vibe is more chocolate and more nuttier, I'd probably go with the higher ABV one and bring it down to strength. But for me, for mixing at mass market, you know, it's there. It really is there. And both of those, that one and that one, both of those are flipping delicious.